Big development coming in at this hour. US President Donald Trump has threatened another country in the Caribbean. He has issued yet another warning. Taken to his Truth Social platform, Trump said, and I quote him here, "There will be no more oil or money going into Cuba. I strongly suggest they make a deal before it is too late." He also claimed that Venezuela now has United States of America to protect them. Earlier, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who has Cuban origin, also sharpened an attack on the Cuban government, highlighting that the country is in bad shape, and US President Trump also ignited fresh curiosity on social media after sharing a post claiming that US Senator and Secretary of State Marco Rubio would become president of Cuba. Trump captioned the post on Truth Social, "Sounds good to me." Big development coming in at this hour. The US president has issued yet another threat to another Caribbean country, that is Cuba. On his Truth Social platform, he said, "There will be no more oil or money going into Cuba. I strongly suggest they make a deal before it is too late." Donald Trump has warned Cuba to make a deal before it's too late, just days after saying the island nation was ready to fall. After the extraordinary capture of Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro, the US president has issued a string of warnings to the Latin American country. In a Truth Social post, he described how Cuba has lived on large amounts of oil and money from Venezuela over several years. He claimed that Cuba had provided security services for the last two Venezuelan dictators in return. The president then vowed that there would be no more oil going to Cuba, saying, "I strongly suggest they make a deal before it's too late." Hitting back, Cuba's Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez accused the US of threatening world peace and emphasized that Cuba had the right to import fuel from any markets willing to export it. It comes after Trump said last week that military intervention in Cuba wouldn't be necessary because the state is ready to fall on its own. He said he didn't think the US needed to take action because the nation was already going down. It comes after Washington slapped a blockade on Venezuelan oil before Trump vowed to control the country's sprawling reserves. The loss of Venezuelan oil has been devastating for Cuba, with Maduro's regime having previously covered around half of Cuba's oil deficit over the last year, according to shipping data. The US president has also said he would launch land strikes on Mexico to target drug cartels, and has even threatened to target Colombia with military action. He previously accused Central American cartels of killing between 250,000 to 300,000 Americans each year, blaming it on their influence in the region. During Trump's sophisticated raid on Venezuela and the successful extraction of Maduro, 32 Cubans were killed defending the former Venezuelan president. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel said that his forces had been protecting Maduro and his wife at the request of Caracas. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has previously described Cuba as a disaster run by incompetent, senile men. Rubio accused Cuba of propping up Maduro's dictatorship and warned Havana that its communist government is in a lot of trouble.